Hi everyone. Today we're going to go over Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. So we're going to review about him just a little bit before we jump into today's lesson. So he was born in Salzburg. He composed his first piece as early as aged 5, probably with his dad's help. And he wrote his first symphony at 8 years old. He has written over 600 works. Does anybody remember what instrument was specifically made for Mozart's clarinet concerto that we listened to last time? If you remembered, Bassett clarinet, great job. So he was a large influence on Western music. Even Beethoven, who we'll be talking about later on, was very influenced by his music and wrote a lot of his early works in the same kind of style that Mozart did. All right, so let's get going on to the rest of it. So this is Mozart's wife. Her name is Constance Mozart. So a little bit about her. She was born January 5th, 1762. She was an Austrian singer. She married Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart first, and later, after he passed away, her second husband, George Nikolaus von Niesen, was Mozart's biographer, and she married him. She and Mozart had two children together, Carl Thomas Mozart and Franz Xavier Wolfgang Mozart. These are their children. So we'll start with Carl Thomas Mozart. He was born September 21st, 1784, and passed away October 31st, 1858. He was a very gifted pianist, obviously like his father. He never married or had any children, and he passed away in Milan, again in 1858, at 74 years old. Franz Xavier Wolfgang Mozart was born July 26, 1791. He is also known as Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart Jr. and was the youngest child. He was born 5 months before Mozart passed away. Franz was a composer, pianist, conductor, and teacher from the late classical period, whose musical style was of an early romanticism, which is, again, just a musical style, heavily influenced by his father's mature style. He passed away July 29th, 1844, at 53. So today we're going to go over a song called Symphony Number 41 in C major. So this piece was completed August 10th, 1788. This is the longest and last symphony he ever composed. It is considered by many critics to be among the greatest symphonies in all classical music. The work is nicknamed the Jupiter Symphony, and this name stems from Jupiter, the Greek god of thunder and lightning, which is, again, also known as Zeus. So a little bit about Zeus. He was the king of all Greek gods. He had many magical powers. He could shapeshift, which means change himself and make himself look like anybody. He could throw lightning bolts and do all kinds of damage. He could throw his voice around and make himself sound like anyone. Now, this piece, the symphony, has a flute, two oboes, two bassoons, two horns, two trumpets, timpani, which is just the drums, and strings. So a little bit more about this before we jump into it. So Symphony Number 41 is the last of a set of 3 that Mozart composed quickly during the summer of 1788. Around that same time, as he composed this piece, the 3 symphonies, Mozart was also writing his piano trios in E major and C major, his piano sonata, number 16 in C major, the so-called sonata facile, and a violin sonatina. Lots of different pieces going on at the same time. So it's not known whether Symphony Number 41 was ever performed within Mozart's lifetime. So let's take a listen to Symphony Number 41 and see what you think as you listen to the music. Thank you for listening. I like that it froze right on almost everyone on that stage. So there's a lot of different instruments to take a look at. We have the strings in the front, and those of our friends who are sitting in the very front, we have a combination of violin, viola, and the cello. The cello is on the right-hand side, which is right here. You can see we're sitting down. And then we have some horns in the back. Interesting. I wonder if we know what kind of horn that is. If you guessed French horn, you're completely right. Now, in the very back, you might notice some, you might not see it very easily, but these particular instruments here are a little different looking as well. And if you're not sure what they are, those are called bassoons. And then we have a clarinet in the front, and then we have a flute right here. So lots of different instruments together. Sounded great. Thanks a lot for listening. I'll see you next time.